Hey everybody, Kevin Machado here. I'm so excited that we've got a brand new year here upon us. We've got amazing things that are in store. And just a quick note, as I know I've chatted about this in my monthly newsletter that I send out. But one of the things I was thinking about this year is I was reflecting on the year and trying to take time, thinking about everything that I'm involved in, and really felt the sense about quitting. Now, don't be afraid. I'm not quitting being a realtor, although some of you probably would be okay with that. But I'm not quitting that. I'm not quitting that. I'm not quitting my family, most important things in the world to me. So I'm not doing any of that. But start to reflect on what are those things that I'm involved in that do not really feed who I am trying to be, are not helping me move forward, and maybe making space for new things in my life and in organizations and things that maybe I should be a part of. One of the things I'm wearing today is my jacket because it is a little bit cold in my office here as we're sitting in our cold, wintry January here in Edmonton and St. Albert. But going back to that, what do we need to quit? And so I reflected on everything and just really thinking about it and reflecting and finding that there's some things in there that I'm carrying along that I probably don't need to be involved in. And so decided to quit some things. And I know quit can feel like a bad word, can feel like everything that we've been taught not to do, but sometimes it is the right thing to do because it is what you are being led to do, because there is an opportunity around the corner that you need to make time for. And it's realizing that there are seasons for things, and there's seasons to give everything you've got for something. And then sometimes you got to pivot and change and make those decisions. So what are those things in your life that you are reflecting on? And maybe you've been doing it. You've been a part of a group for so long, or you've been a part of an organization, or you've been carrying around this to-do list forever and ever, and it just isn't getting done. And maybe there's things that you just need to say, you know what, rather than getting to it later, this is not something that I need to be doing. I need to cut it out of my life so I can focus on the better things. Everybody gets into January. They're deciding all these new things they want to do, like start running and jumping and dancing and other activities. January 2nd comes along and most of them fall apart. So rather than adding something to your plate, what's something that you can remove so you can become the best version of yourself this year? That's my challenge to you. That's my challenge to me as we look forward to this year. Now, enough about that personal development stuff that I do love very much. But what is our real estate market doing? You know, as we look back last year into our real estate market, we had a really strong year in Edmonton and St. Albert. We saw our prices rise generally about 10%. We've seen our inventory, that's been tricky, that's been low. We haven't seen a ton of the new listing side of things. And then our sales were up year over year. So our demand is high, our inventory low, and then that did what? That pushes our prices up. I'm going to take you through the numbers for this past year, and we're going to look back at the numbers for last month, and then we'll talk a little bit about what it's going to look like moving forward. Let's look at our single family detached price home. What is that looking like in the St. Albert, Edmonton Central, well, really the Edmonton area? What did it look like? And our average home price was $540,000. That was flat from the month before, but that was up 10.6% year over year. So a 10% increase in those single family home prices from December to December. Then we were looking at our semi-detached, our half duplexes. Those are at $409,000. Month over month, 1.6% up. Year over year, 12.3% up on that. And I think that month over month actually was like pretty much the same, but year over year, we're up 12.3%. That's a big increase. Same thing for our row townhouse style properties. Those are at an average price of $293, and year over year, that's up 12.3% and really around 1% month over month. Our apartment style condos, those even saw an increase from the month over month to December. We're sitting again around that $200,000, $204,000, up 19% from the year before and 1.8% from the month previous. Now, if we were to dig down specifically, what does St. Albert look like? Our months of inventory are at 2.21%. In Edmonton, the months of inventory are 2.44%. Anything under 4 is going to be a seller's market. So less inventory here in St. Albert, which is what we've seen throughout the entirety of the year. Really, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, those two communities really perform well. Prices go up, and they've seen, I think St. Albert saw the greatest amount of activity per capita, and then greatest increase in pricing over 2024. And then that continues to go through. The average price in St. Albert is about $558,000 for a single family detached home. And that's up from the year before, 534,000. We anticipate we'll continue to see those increases. And then we saw the highest sale in St. Albert was for 1.025 million in Kingswood, and the lowest sale was in Mission, $339,000. Lots of demand, not lots of inventory. There's not a ton of active properties. The conversations we have around the office are, does anybody have anything good that's coming up for sale? Because there's lots of buyers out there and they haven't been able to get those homes. Now, let's look at that crystal ball, which is all cracked and broken and duct tape from being thrown across the room for never being totally right. But we're going to give our best guess to how things are going to look for this upcoming year. What we do continue to see are people making their way to Alberta. Calgary has seen tremendous increases in property value from the difference used to be much smaller going from Edmonton to Calgary, and it's grown quite a bit over the last 2 years. So that separation between the two has gotten large. Is there room this year for Edmonton to make up some room and catch up somewhat? Not getting right up to where Calgary is, but catching somewhat of those gains made to create a little bit less of a gap between the two? I would have to say I think there's room for that to be the case. I think that we're going to continue to see people making their way here as our economy continues to remain strong, our property values are lower, and our incomes are higher. I think we're going to continue to be the place to be. Calgary was the place to be. I think Edmonton is going to be the place to be for 2025. Could property values increase? I know the Real Estate Board of Edmonton said that property values, they're anticipating a 4% increase. Could it be higher than that? I think it's very likely that we could see price increases higher than 4% for the single family detached market and our market overall. So positive things looking forward. If you're a seller, you own property here. And if you're a buyer, you've really got to take the steps to get ready. Be ready. I think as our year goes along, prices are going to go up. So earlier on, there maybe is going to be opportunities that same house might be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more as you come to the end of the year. And so maybe taking opportunities early if the right thing comes along. And sellers, really get your place ready. Get the team in there to make sure they're giving you good advice, to make sure that property is in tip-top shape so that when it comes to market with a really good strategy, you can get multiple offers, which is what we're seeing on our properties already. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this year is going to be a fantastic one for you with whatever you quit and whatever you take on, and whatever your real estate goals and needs are. You know that you can always reach out to me, or if you got some great book recommendations or you want to talk personal development, I'm always ears for that as well. All right, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your month here and a fantastic 2025, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.